Perhaps you've heard of the National Football League, or the NFL. Perhaps you're a diehard fan, but you question the honesty of the league and its referees. Perhaps you'd like to go to more NFL games, but paying the ticket prices mean you'd get evicted out of your rental and be on the street eating half-eaten ramen out of garbage cans. God forbid that should ever happen. Have you heard of arena football? It's been around for a while, and many arena football players have gone on to play in the NFL, including MVP Kurt Warner. You probably didn't know that the one-time head coach of the Chicago Bears, Matt Nagy, was a quarterback for the Georgia Force in the Arena Football League, or that the current head coach of the Green Bay Packers, Matt LaFleur, was the quarterback of the Omaha Beef, a proud member of the National Arena League. Perhaps you didn't know that Rob Baronis, the Tennessee Titans kicker who holds the record for most field goals in a game, got signed because he was nailing field goals for the New York Dragons of the Arena Football League. The NFL has goalposts that are 18 feet wide with a 10-foot crossbar. Arena/indoor football's goalposts are 9 feet wide with a 15-foot high crossbar. Kickers learn to be very precise in this game. Did you know that Beast Mode himself, Marshawn Lynch of the Seattle Seahawks, owns a team in the Indoor Football League? Did you know that 4th overall draft pick Marvin Jones of the New York Jets is a head coach in the Indoor Football League? Or that close to a dozen former NFL players played on the Massachusetts Pirates of the IFL, including Super Bowl champion Garrett Hartley, who also hit a game-winning field goal to win a championship for the Pirates just a couple years ago. There are countless other stories I could tell you, but for now I only wish to mention that these professional leagues are all connected. Avid arena/indoor football fans are already aware of this information, but for the sake of those new to the game, let me briefly explain. Arena football was designed to be played indoors in a confined space the size of a hockey rink. Instead of a 100-yard field with 10-yard end zones, it's 50 yards long with 8-yard end zones, sometimes rounded off. Instead of being 160 feet wide from sideline to sideline, the field is 85 feet wide and has no sideline. It has dasher boards, so the field can still double for hockey games. Fans can sit right up to the dasher boards and get intimately familiar with the players on the field. Sometimes players will land in their laps, and errant throws can be caught and kept by the fans as a souvenir. The smaller field and intimate space makes for a much better fan experience because you can feel like you're part of the game. The players will high-five you and talk to you during the game, and here's the best part. It's all for a fraction of the cost of an NFL game ticket. To be clear, the games in arena/indoor football don't always give a perfectly polished product, and some franchises do better than others. They all have far less of an operating budget than NFL squads operate on, and players are often paid very little. That is due to how little the industry actually makes. But that could change when the industry grows and more fans join in the wonderful world of arena/indoor football. The industry wants to give players an opportunity to display their skills, to get noticed, and eventually to be elevated to the CFL, UFL, and even the NFL. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Arena/indoor football gives you the greatest value of entertainment for the smallest amount of money out of any entertainment product out there. It is a family-friendly, action-packed, and in my opinion, never boring, wonderful entertainment experience. Most of you are probably aware of the history of the Arena Football League, which provided such great entertainment for many years. Today I'd like to introduce you to another league. What is the Indoor Football League, and why should you watch it? Following the 2008 season, the Arena Football League was having a few financial struggles, which caused them to pull the plug on playing in 2009. The Indoor Football League was born in 2008 when United Indoor Football and Intense Football League merged, creating the Indoor Football League to play the 2009 season while the AFL was taking a break. They began with 17 teams, and their lofty goals got them to 25 teams by the next year. As different teams folded or left, the IFL gradually started focusing more on the stability of franchises, quality and honest ownership groups, and high standard quality operations, bringing us now to the 2024 season, the Sweet 16 birthday for the league. They have 16 teams playing 16 guaranteed games in their 16th year as a league. Let's break down the markets, who they are in alphabetical order. We'll start with the longest running franchise in the game, the Arizona Rattlers, who have been around for 30 years. But they started in the Indoor Football League in 2017, coached by Kevin Guy, and in their first year were able to take the team all the way to the United Bowl and beat the longtime bullies of the IFL, the SOU Fall Storm, for the championship. The parity was starting to come into the league because the Storm had won 6 straight United Bowls before their Rattlers loss. In 2019, the Rattlers went 14-0 in the regular season and made it to the United Bowl, where the Storm got their revenge, winning by 3 points over the Rattlers in front of 14,000 passionate fans. Today, the team is still coached by Kevin Guy and will be playing in Glendale, Arizona at Desert Diamond Arena with approximately a 17,000 seating capacity. They are 1-2 in championships in the league, but are considered contenders for the championship every year and arguably have the loudest and largest fan base in the industry. Next, we have the Bay Area Panthers, owned by casino giant Roy Choi and NFL running back Marshawn Lynch. They were set to start in 2020 as the Oakland Panthers, but the COVID overreaction shut down their season, and because the said overreaction shut down casinos for a while, the Panthers didn't play in 21 either, but announced they were moving to San Jose to play and would be known as the Bay Area Panthers. They debuted in 2022, winning their first ever game, but would lose every other game that season. With coaching changes and a roster overhaul, they made a historic turnaround, going from worst to first in just 1 year. They won the IFL National Championship in Vegas just this last year as the game was broadcast on CBS Sports Network. The Panthers head coach this year is championship-winning Rob Keefe, with another championship-winning coach, Dixie Wootland, heading the offense. And they will play at S&P Center in San Jose with a seating capacity of approximately 17,000. Next, we have the Bismarck Bucks. Being the only professional football team in North Dakota, they started play in the Champions Indoor Football League, but joined the IFL for the 2019 season. They struggled in their inaugural year, going 2-12, but in 2021 played well enough to get to the playoffs. After their season in 2022, they went on hiatus due to incredibly high workers' comp prices, and they currently remain on hiatus for the 2024 season, but are active with the league and plan to play in 2025, with rumors circulating that they may move out of Bismarck. It is unclear what arena and what city they will resume play in, but it's assumed that Rod Miller will remain the head coach when they return. Going to the southwest, we have the Duke City Gladiators, who hail from Albuquerque, New Mexico, named after the Duke of Albuquerque. They were founded in 2015 and spent 5 seasons in the Champions Indoor Football League, winning Champions Bowls in their final 2 years with the league. They began play in the Indoor Football League in 2021 and were a missed field goal away from a potential trip to the championship. They've made the playoffs in 2 of their 3 seasons with the league. The team has co-head coaches, Fred Briggs and Dominic Bramante, helming the team and playing at the Rio Rancho Events Center with a seating capacity of approximately 6,000. Heading back to the Midwest, we've got the Fishers Freight. Fishers is a suburb of Indianapolis, Indiana, and the Freight will not be playing in 2024. The team is brand new, and they are building a brand new arena, expecting to enter IFL competition for 2025. To my knowledge, they have not announced a head coach yet, but the Fishers Event Center is expected to have a seating capacity of 6,500. Let's head down south, where perhaps one of the most exciting and frustrating teams to watch has been the Frisco Fighters from Frisco, Texas. They began as a brand new team playing in 2021 and have been very good in their young existence. In each of their 3 years playing in the league, they were among the highest seeded teams heading into the playoffs. They made it to the Final Four in each year and found a way to lose their conference championship in each of their 3 playoff seasons, though the first time they were not conferences. Due to these losses, they have not yet made it to a championship game, but have provided fans with many fireworks and have the best regular season winning percentage out of any team in the IFL since entering the league. Their head coach is now Andre Coles, and they play at the Comerica Center with a seating capacity of 3,500. Let's go up to the frozen tundra. We have another historically stable franchise in the Green Bay Blizzard. They began play in the AF2 League for the first 6 years of their existence before joining the IFL in 2010. Their first 3 years in the league, they made the playoffs with 2 conference championship appearances, but due to the big bullies of the league, the SOU Fall Storm, they weren't able to make it to the championship. They had a playoff drought for the next 6 years before returning to the playoffs in 2019. The last 2 seasons, the Green Bay Blizzard have come close to making the playoffs, but found themselves just outside of that race. Their head coach is Corey Roberson, and they play at the Resch Center in Ashwaubenon, Wisconsin, with a seating capacity of 8,500. Just a little bit to the south is a team many of you have probably heard of, the historic franchise, the Iowa Barnstormers. They've been known to win a few championships, and this is the team that NFL MVP Kurt Warner played for before signing with the St. Louis Rams. The team has seen its fair share of ups and downs. They began play in the IFL in 2015 and enjoyed relative success, finally winning it all in 2018 over the SOU Fall Storm. Last season, they suffered one of their worst seasons in franchise history with a 3-12 record, but made the playoffs the year before. The Barnstormers play in Des Moines, Iowa, at Wells Fargo Arena with a seating capacity of 15,000 and are led by head coach Dave Mogeson. How about we go to the southeast, right up on the coast? Another historic franchise in the world of arena/indoor football is one of the new members of the IFL, the Jacksonville Sharks. They've also won championships in leagues they've been in, but now will be playing in their first season in the IFL. They're coming off a championship win from the National Arena League and will be joining an Eastern Conference of 8 teams vying for playoff positioning. They are no strangers to the game and are helmed by a coach with a big background in indoor football, head coach Jason Gibson. They play in ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena, aka the Shark Tank, with a seating capacity of about 13,000. They'll be out for blood this year in the IFL. Let's go north from there. On the East Coast, we also have a team that's a little familiar with the Jacksonville Sharks. It's the Massachusetts Pirates. They began play in the IFL in 2021 with NFL receivers Terrence Williams and Martavis Bryant on their roster and Super Bowl champion Patrick Pass as their head coach. They started the season only 3-3, but found a winning formula and won every single remaining game of the season, gliding through the playoffs, and in the United Bowl after signing New Orleans Saints kicker Garrett Hartley made a field goal in overtime, winning the championship in their first year with the league. The following season, they lost in the first round of the playoffs by 1 point. They've made the playoffs each of their 3 seasons with the IFL and are always fun to watch. Rod Miller, who has coached the Bismarck Bucks, is the head coach of the Mass Pirates, and this year they will play at the Songus Center out of Lowell, Massachusetts, with a seating capacity of 6,000. Heading back to the Southwest, an exciting team to watch is the Northern Arizona Wranglers. As a brand new team, they began play in 2021, but went on to the IFL's worst record at 1-13. Coaching staff changes and a roster overhaul led to an unprecedented worst-to-first scenario as the Wranglers went 12-4 the next season and went on to win the IFL championship in Vegas. Last season, they fell back a little but still managed to make it to the semifinal, nearly going to the IFL championship again. The team has a lot of upside and a growing fan base. They are coached by championship-winning coach Les Moss, and they play in Prescott Valley, Arizona at the Findlay Toyota Center with a 6,000 seating capacity. Going back to the Midwest, we have the Quad City Steamwheelers, who play in Moline, Illinois. This is another historic franchise with a few ups and downs, who were the Wranglers' opponents in the IFL Championship 2 years ago. They began in the Champions Indoor Football League for 1 season before moving to the IFL. They began IFL play in 2019 and had a 2-year hiatus due to COVID. Their first season back, they made it to the IFL Championship, losing by only 2 points. Last season, they finished with the number 4 seed in the Eastern Conference, but lost in the first round of the playoffs. They are coached by Corey Ross and play at the Vibrant Arena with a seating capacity of about 9,200. Heading back to Texas, we have one of the new IFL members in the San Antonio Gunslingers. This franchise began play in 2021 in a rodeo barn as members of the American Arena League. With their ownership now, they've grown to be one of the most stable franchises with probably the fastest growing fan base. They spent the last 2 seasons in the National Arena League, starting out with an 8-1 record last year before a losing streak that saw them miss out on the championship. As the new members of the IFL, they've hired another championship-winning coach in Tom Manas. They play at the Freeman Coliseum with a seating capacity of around 9,000. Let's go to the West Coast, back in California. The San Diego Strike Force began as a brand new team playing in the IFL in 2019. It was a tumultuous first season, as is often the case with new teams, and they finished the season 1-13. In 2020, they played 1 game and won it in Bismarck before the COVID overreaction shut down the rest of the season. Due to COVID restrictions, they sat out the 2021 season as well. They were barely better in 2022 and finished 3-13. However, last year, they were contenders for a playoff spot in a very difficult Western Conference, finishing 6-9, barely losing out the number 4 seed to the Northern Arizona Wranglers. Things have improved for this team, who are led by head coach Taylor Genesser. They play at the Pechanga Arena and have a seating capacity near 12,000. Let's head up north to the Plains. When it comes to the Indoor Football League, there is no more historic team than the SOU Fall Storm. They are the only IFL team today that was part of the league when it all started, as they began play in 2009. They are far and away the most successful team in the league, in league play, perhaps because they've been here longer, but perhaps due to longtime head coach Curtis Riggs. In the IFL's 16 seasons, the SOU Fall Storms have made it to 11 championships, winning 7 of them. They enter a new era now that Curtis Riggs has retired. They'll now be coached by Andre Fields and will continue to play at the Denny Sanford Premier Center with a seating capacity of over 10,000. Heading back to the Southwest, back in Arizona, entering as a brand new team, the Tucson Sugar began play in 2019 and impressively made the playoffs in their first year of existence. That's pretty rare. They had a 3-point loss in the playoffs to the SOU Fall Storm, who went on to win it all that year. In 2021, the Skulls finished 6-8, but managed to get back into the playoffs last year, losing in the first round to the Bay Area Panthers, who also went on to win the championship. The Sugar Skulls have made it to the playoffs in 2 of their 3 seasons. They will now be led by another championship-winning coach, Billy Back. They'll play at the Tucson Arena with a seating capacity of just under 9,000. Back to the Midwest we go, to Oklahoma. As a brand new team last year, the Tulsa Oilers standings can be slightly misleading. While they finished with the league's worst record at 2-13, they hung with the league's greatest teams, as the Arizona Rattlers, Massachusetts Pirates, and Frisco Fighters escaped with very narrow victories. Another plus side for the Tulsa Oilers is they have one of the league's largest fan bases in only their first season in existence, eclipsing the 10,000 mark multiple times during the season last year. The Tulsa Oilers begin their second season with another championship-winning coach in Marvin Jones leading the troops. They play at the beautiful Block Center with a seating capacity of 16,500. And heading back to the desert, last but not least, we have the beautiful-looking Vegas Nighthawks. Here's another team that built a brand new arena and entered the IFL as a brand new team. Their first season was decent, and they ended with a 6-10 record. Their second season was just last year, and due to being part of an incredibly stacked Western Conference, the Nighthawks finished last in the conference at 5-10. They look to turn things around this season, with head coach Mike Davis still leading the charge. They play at the Dollar Loan Center in Henderson, Nevada, with a capacity of around 6,000. Aside from the stable and beautiful member teams in this league, here's a few more reasons why you should watch and follow the Indoor Football League. CBS Sports Network sees enough value in it to include Indoor Football League content on its platform going forward. The parity of the league gets more and more competitive every year. As mentioned before, the Vegas Nighthawks finished last in the Western Conference but still had 5 wins, and the winner of the conference had 11. That's pretty good parity. It's not that lopsided. The competitiveness is something that is very appealing. Some of the matchups last year were as intense as football matchups can get. The IFL has 16 teams, and 9 of the head coaches entering this year have won championships in arena/indoor football. That's more than half the current head coaches. They also have an IFL live show that is ran by the owners of the Bismarck Bucks as a way for the Bucks to still help with the IFL brand while on hiatus. The IFL live show is similar to NFL Red Zone. When you have a bunch of Saturday night games going, it's a great way to keep up on all the IFL scoring and the intensity live. Last, as mentioned before, attending an indoor/arena football game live is an experience unlike any other, especially if you buy close-up seats. It's a blast to interact with players and coaches during the game, and exhilarating if you catch a ball and get to keep it as a souvenir. Some of the gameplay and rules are very exciting to watch, and I maintain that it's the best value for your dollar out of any entertainment out there. So I strongly encourage you to get tickets and attend games this spring and summer. 2 years ago, the IFL actually released a short video introducing the beauty of the game, and I've included it right here.
With teams from coast to coast and growing, we are the Indoor Football League, producing the best quality indoor football in the country. The IFL is the nation's longest continuously running pro indoor football league, offering great entertainment and great value. And it's time for you to get in on the action. IFL games are fan-centered, fast-paced, and high-scoring. And it's a great night out for anyone, whether you're bringing the little ones to try to catch a ball in the stands, a client or business team for a break out of the office, or just having a night out with your buddies. An IFL game is guaranteed fun that won't break the budget. Visit GoIFL.com to watch games, learn about our history, players, and coaches, and click on your favorite team's site for tickets and official team merchandise. Follow us on social media and visit GoIFL.com.
Now that's some pretty exciting stuff. If we did not mention a team that's close to you, there are other great leagues that might be in your area. Give us a follow and we'll keep you up to date, or leave us a comment and we'll point you in the right direction to see where you can attend a game or mini games. Because once you attend one, you'll probably be hooked. You can have a great time with your community at these football events. Blessings to you all, and we hope you have a wonderful time in 2024. And that is my arena football statement.